Welcome to Genoa, currently the local supporters believe the football capital of Italy. Sampdoria, champions, but their present credentials sure to be examined today against Inter, the early season league leaders. A match to bring back memories of that magnificent game last May between these two sides, which undoubtedly settled the championship in Sampdoria's favour. Oh, brilliantly saved by Pagliuca. Oh, it's got to Berti! Roma to Mateus. But Vialli, with Cerezo making a good run, and Dossena is there as well! Would you believe it? Klinsmann. Oh, and Sampdoria got too many players in there. Berti believes he's got a penalty. And I think he has. Here comes Mateus. Oh, and he saved it! Bremer takes the free kick. Mateus is the loser again. Here's Dossena. Lombardo, it's round the goalkeeper, it's at the post. Vialli still waiting in the middle. Here he is, and it's off the line. Grown men, hardened football watchers, are scarcely able to turn their eyes to this, and surely it's two this time. It is! The somersault of celebration from Gianluca Vialli. Vialli's here again to spearhead the Sampdoria challenge. They have a full squad to choose from, including Roberto Mancini, who was suspended from Wednesday's European Cup tie against the Norwegians Rosenborg Trondheim. Mancini, along with Vierkevod and Vialli, named last Friday in Italy's squad for the forthcoming friendly international against Bulgaria. At number 11, Silas, the major addition to Sampdoria's resources since the championship was won. Well, Inter have been rotating their players, and perhaps because of that, gave a poor showing in the UEFA Cup in Portugal last Wednesday, losing 2-1 to Boa Vista. Bianchi and Klinsmann were suspended then, they're back today, and so too is Nicola Berti, only a substitute in the European game. Inter kick-off, wearing a change strip of all white. Trevor Francis, once of Sampdoria, alongside me today, and both of us really looking forward to this encounter. Riccardo Ferri, who along with Bergami has been dropped by the Italian squad.
Well, it'll be interesting this afternoon to see what tactics Inter Milan adopt, because the last time we saw them play, they were very, very negative when they played against Roma. Deserved really to get nothing from that game, or perhaps at least a draw. But they won it, of course, with that controversial penalty, which Mateus converted in good style.
I had the opportunity to talk to Lothar Matthäus when he was in England, and he said that he certainly appreciates the way Aurico is running the team. He prefers his tactics to those of Trapattoni's, which was not too much of a surprise. He had been critical of Trapattoni. The volleyed cross from Mancini. It's going to be an interesting comparison between the two goalkeepers here. Italy's 1 and 2, Zenga and Pagliuca, who gave that quite unbelievable performance when the two teams met in the San Siro last May, in the match which really did ensure that Sampdoria, not Inter, would win the championship. Mateus said about Pagliuca that day, he was a goalkeeper with 10 hands rather than 10 fingers. Here's Vialli. Bianchi trying to slide it through for Berti, broken up by Vierkevod. It's sure to be fierce and frantic in the Opening exchanges here. Silas, really a dream move for him to come to Sampdoria, having been in a relegation side last season with Cesena. Oh, that's a nasty collision. I don't think anything too sinister about it, but it is Cerezo, who's the Sampdoria player, hurt. Klinsmann was trying to turn quickly and hit a shot, I think.
Yes, the free kick's given for Cerezo, putting his foot up, which probably would have gone unpunished in England, but as we've seen many times on the continent, you just raise your foot, it's immediately punished.
So, a chance. It's an indirect free kick, surely for dangerous play, although the referee, not at the moment, raising an arm. Bremer takes it onto the far side, and the bumping and barging there, catching the eye of the referee. Inter felt that they might have got more. They got nothing, in fact.
As an attacker in Italy, when it's a free kick or a corner, it's so difficult trying to get a position. The pushing and shoving that takes place, it's really frustrating for an attacker, and 9 times out of 10, it's the defensive side that gets the reward of a free kick, as we saw on that occasion there. Plenty of pushing, but free kick given to Sampdoria.
Coming up to 9 minutes gone. It's Sampdoria, the champions, 0, Inter, the league leaders, 0. But that might change. Here's Lombardo, and the referee's got to step in here, and it's a yellow card to Bergami. Lombardo, who really is fleet of foot, and he was past the Inter-captain until that crude challenge.
And there's the man in your picture, Mancini, who's the instigator of that move. Sweet pass inside of Bergami, put him in all sorts of trouble. He knew about the pace of Lombardo.
Vialli waiting on the far post. It doesn't get to him as Catanets came in. The two powerful figures there, Catanets and Vierkevod, attacking the free kick at the far post. And Catanets complaining that it should have been a corner. Bergami. Paganin was able to control the ball only after the whistle had gone. He's a former Sampdoria player, incidentally. Between 1984 and 1988, he earned his living in Genoa, played 46 first division games. There's a slip by Pari, and Desideri with a terrific ball. And it was Berti's chance on the far side. And in the context of this game, which has had a fairly cautious start, it was a good chance. Pari will be mightily relieved that his slip didn't cost a goal. Great appreciation in the pass from Desideri, but here's Lombardo, and Bremer is there in front of Mancini.
Yeah, good ball in from Desideri, played with the outside of his foot. It's always going away from Berti, left him a rather difficult angle, didn't hit it cleanly, and Paluca made a comfortable save. That's the first chance we've had.
Silas. Vierkevod, who is moving more freely now. Catanets trying to claim it on the edge of the area. Intercoped calmly enough. Oh, and that's a stray one from Ferri. Oh, Mancini. Zenga looks at Riccardo Ferri, his battle-hardened defender, for Inter and for Italy, who made an astonishing error of judgment then. And Mancini, well, he couldn't believe his luck, and he certainly didn't make anything of it.
Well, when I saw Ferry playing the ball back, I couldn't believe it. Not that I could see Mancini in the picture, but I felt that he was playing it blindly. It's one thing you never do as a defender without looking. Play the ball back to your keeper. There's no surprise when Mancini was there. It was a surprise to finish, because that was a very, very bad finish by Mancini. Should hit the target from that situation. And definitely the best chance we've had so far.
In the final analysis, that could be a very significant miss. Serie moving into midfield, and it's a free kick conceded by Ferry, who's not having a very good spell at the moment.
Mancini's tried to hit the ball across Zenga to the far post, but trying to do so, he's only succeeded in dragging it way past the far post.
And here's Mancini again. And Zenga with a terrific tackle. Well, an outfield player couldn't have done better, but Inter have gone to pieces for the moment. They were looking at the linesman and then realised that the game was still going on, and now there is an offside decision. But Zenga, who could have given away a penalty, could have got himself sent off in the current climate, came up with the answer then. Well, he's played to use his hands, but he stuck out a foot then, and because of that, Inter escaped huge embarrassment. If Mancini had been able to hit the target, that's perhaps a biggish if at the moment, coming straight after the miss. You can see why Mancini has perhaps failed with Italy, where his goal-scoring record has really been nothing like the way he's been getting goals in club football. Lombardo, can he stretch his legs here? Well, it was a good idea to get the cross early. He'd seen Vialli coming in towards the near post area, but Lombardo wasn't able to loft it beyond the first defender. There was a fitness doubt, incidentally, about Mateus, who was injured early in the match in midweek in the UEFA Cup in Portugal. I've just got a knock on the same point there from Manini. It was an ankle problem, we understand. It's not been a match that's been littered with fouls. But the onus is on Sampdoria, given the way Inter have picked their team here to make the running. But they will be mindful of what happened to Roma, who tried to do that 2 weeks ago and lost in the closing stages. Manini. Crossing hasn't been of the best quality in this match so far. Both sides have been guilty in that respect.
Well, the longer it stays 0-0, the more it's going to suit Enrico, the Inter manager, because, as I said earlier, he's got Ciotti, he's got Fontaline on the bench, and he can always use them if he needs to in the latter stages of the game.
Pagani's pass was a poor one. And it's Mancini who's raced through. The ball switched from one end to the other, and Sampdoria suddenly have found Mancini in a more ruthless mood in front of goal. He didn't have so much time to think about that one, and he swept it past Zenga. The goal coming in the 34th minute, and Inter will be furious that there wasn't enough depth in their defending then. Well, it's certainly forced a rethink for Inter now. I wonder whether they'll bring an extra attacker on at half-time. Possibly not if the game stays at 1-0. They'll leave it till later. But Mancini leads into a dance again. Everyone trying to slip it through to Vialli. The two of them have this almost telepathic understanding.
Yes, they do have, but they also got great pace. In Vialli, Mancini and Lombardo, Sampdoria have got great pace in forward positions. Doesn't matter who you're playing against, it's always going to cause problems.
Here's Berti, causing problems at the other end. Oh, and that could have broken for Klinsmann. Serie was in there as well. Cerezo just happy to get it out of play. And we really have got a game on our hands now. The longer it stayed at 0-0, the more Inter would have felt that their approach was justified and that that outcome at the end of 90 minutes would be satisfactory.
Oh, undoubtedly, that's what the game needed. There's been a good reaction from Inter, good run into the box there from Berti. Unfortunately, the final ball not quite right for his colleagues, but all sorts of permutations now. Does Rico bring on another forward half-time? Do they continue the way it is with just Klinsmann up front? Certainly in for a very, very interesting second half.
And the 7 minutes that remain in the first. And of course they can get goals from their midfield players. Mateus is the shining example of that. Serie has a good track record in that respect. And there's Nicola Berti as well, who loves breaking into the penalty area. He'll have more license to do that now, I'm sure. Bianchi with a cross, and that's Paganini.
And Mateus playing in a more advanced role than Martin, because in 40 minutes this afternoon he's played virtually in front of his back four. It's obviously a tactic from Rico, because we mentioned the fact that Baggio is pushing forward, trying to support Klinsmann. But what it has done, in fact, is it's not allowed Mateus to push forward.
Cut out by Pari. Silas, who seems to have fitted in snugly. Never easy for players who join sides that have just won a major trophy. There's a feeling of unity in the dressing room. The newcomer is not always quite as welcome as he should be. It's going to take somebody's place.
Just taking you up on that point, Martin, I think he was fortunate that he came in to replace Mikhailichenko, who wasn't particularly well liked by one or two of the Sampdoria players, so they welcome the new foreign player.
Desideri's shot, and it nearly turned into a ricochet that troubled Sampdoria. But Mikhailichenko wasn't in the team. He's actually got a place in the team through Dossena having not been fit through the summer, and although he is fit now, he's on the bench today. Dossena had contributed greatly last season. It's half-time in Genoa. Roberto Mancini's goal for Sampdoria coming in the 34th minute, as the ball was transferred from one end of the pitch to the other and past Zenga in a flash, and that after Mancini had missed certainly one much easier opportunity. Inter came here with an approach that we really expected, to be cautious, to leave Klinsmann up basically on his own and try and support him from midfield. Really, they're in a position now where they've got to change that in the second half. At half-time, it's Sampdoria 1, Inter 0. Canino Cerezo in his berth at the back. They'll try to keep it tidy defensively for Sampdoria in the defence of the lead that Mancini's given to them. Mateus. And here's Paganini with his shirt being tugged. Just looking round now at the Inter players, see what move Rico has made, and Fontalan is on. Oh! It was Andy Bremer coming in on the edge of the penalty area. It's Klinsmann who went for it. Fontaine is the other fair-haired player, the number 14. And Bremer who had the shot. Silas. Bari. Now Manini. Bremer got his tackle in. This is Baggio. And Cerezo defending sternly and fairly. And Vialli and the crowd getting behind him. Paganini the defender. Vialli's pass is a very subtle one for Silas. And it needed Berti to cover the run, to defend from midfield.
All of a sudden now Sampdoria finding openings that they weren't there in the opening 45 minutes. That's because Inter are pushing forward, leaving one or two gaps. Certainly making for a very, very interesting and a very open second half.
Sampdoria have the corner. Senga pats at it rather. The whistle had gone, and or had it gone? It hadn't gone. Mateus thought he'd heard something, and the referee had not blown, and Lothar Matthäus, of all players, the current European Footballer of the Year, thought the game had stopped when it hadn't. Had there been a whistle in the crowd? If there had been, it wasn't possible to detect from our microphones. Zenga wasn't, I don't think, too pleased with his effort, although it cleared the penalty area. And look at that. And Catanet's the first to say, you can't let him do that. And of course, this is a season where deliberate handball is going to be very much in focus. If you handle it on the line, you get sent off to stop a goal. It wasn't such a case in point. And Matthäus explaining why he had that aberration, if he can explain it. And his face will be very red indeed if Sampdoria come up with a free kick here to beat Zenga and get a second goal. It's Mancini, and the rule spares the blushes of Matthäus. And Fontaine, who played his football in this stadium for Genoa, was looking as though he was in unfamiliar territory, close to the edge of his own penalty area then.
Just wonder if that had anything to do with substitution, the fact that Fontaine was preferred to Chiocci. Fontaine, as you say, played here with Genoa, certainly knows the pitch very well. With Chiocci, when he came on against Roma, certainly turned the game, winning the penalty. Looked to be very, very lively in that period when he came on the field.
And came on the week before that to get the equaliser against Foggia. He came on last week and missed a penalty, so maybe that's in the thinking as well. Well, at times, Sreko Catanets looks ungainly and clumsy, but he kept control then to worry Inter and the two immediate opponents, Ferri and Paganini. And he's produced a free kick, which Mancini will take charge of.
That was a perfect example of how to win a free kick.
Catanets, who's wheeling in the centre, hoping for a cross to get his head to, but Mancini had other ideas that time. Clearance from Bianchi. Manini's pass, and Lombardo in behind Inter. Lombardo again, and still Lombardo! He goes to the crowd in salute. Zenga saw something wrong and protests.
Yes, and I think what he's protesting about is the fact that I think you'll see Mancini is stood in an offside position as the ball hits the back of the net.
I wonder whether they thought Lombardo handled as the ball broke back to him here. Did he use a left hand? They were certainly appealing.
Well, Mancini's definitely offside. But did he interfere with play?
Mateus. Now Baggio. Well, the corners bringing Inter closer and closer to getting a goal. Can Klinsmann get free again? Oh, and they've let it bounce, and it bounced over Klinsmann. That was an astonishing lapse by Sampdoria. No one took responsibility then, and there's an inquest going on now. How rare that is, to see a corner land and nobody, friend or foe, make contact with it. Klinsmann tried. We're going to see now the episode, the stretch there by Catanets that caused him some discomfort. But I'd love to have seen the corner again.
So many times on this programme I've said how poor Italian defences are at defending from corners. Once again there we saw another example. They just don't seem to attack the ball with any conviction.
Now Catanets is off for the time being. This is Bianchi. Off the head only of Bjerkevold. Bianchi again. And that's the goalkeepers. That was a wasted position. But Pagliuca has thrown it out poorly. And it's a free kick to Inter because of that. And Lana is going to come on, but is he going to be on in time? They can make the substitution now. The throw has been taken, but the referee says it was taken prematurely. Catanets is replaced by Marco Lana, who comes from Genoa. He's had a lot of injury problems in Italy. Catanets came here from the German club Stuttgart. So where will Lana go and play now? Will it take over the job that Catanets was doing?
No, I would think Martinelli would go as sweeper and Cerezo would push into midfield. But then again, I'm not the manager of Sampdoria, I'm the manager of Sheffield Wednesday.
Bianchi's header keeping the pressure on. Manini steered it away. Bremer, who can hit them from this distance. Oh, and it seemed to skim through past Bjerkevold then. Whether it did take a touch off him wasn't totally clear. But that's where Bremer is in a class of his own. Hitting shots, balls that bounce awkwardly from that type of angle. Mancini. Sampdoria not really resting on their laurels, but they are being forced back by Inter, who came out with a change in personnel, a change in attitude at the second half, and will feel, given the nature of the goal, distinctly unfortunate to be two adrift.
I personally feel that one of the reasons why Sampdoria have had so much success in these last few years...
No offside. And is it going to be number 3 for Vialli? The goal is open. And Inter have been caught out again. We talked about the counter-attacking class of Sampdoria, and it's shone through here. The linesman had a good look and said no offside, and there's few better than Vialli one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Even a goalkeeper of Zenga's calibre.
That's a class finish. I have to say the linesman was correct. It was a well-timed run from Vialli. That's superb finishing. Just touches it around Zenga, calmly puts it into an empty net.
think, Trevor, another opportunity to applaud the administrators who've amended the law, because we've had a couple of goals here which I think wouldn't have happened before the change in emphasis. Bergami would have brought down Mancini on the first one and given away a penalty, and Zenga might have been tempted if he could have got close to Vialli, and that's a big if, to bring him down. But now, had he done that, it would have been a red card, he'd have been off, and the goal is there, the entertainment is there. On this occasion, Inter have been on the wrong end of both those Sampdoria attacks. Ciocci is the last card that Orrico can play, another attacker, and Inter are going to have a crack. But with some 23 minutes to go. But our feeling was that Vialli was definitely onside.
Oh, most definitely. I watched the run very carefully of Vialli. He timed it perfectly, and I would say it was a good yard onside.
And here they come again. This could turn into a rout, because Inter now have really gambled with their formation. Cerezo's got into the middle, and it was very nearly a chance for him. He's still got energy to burn. Mateus with the pass, and there's no gap with Cerezo having launched himself upfield. Bjerkevod was there, but he's made a stray pass, and he makes up for his own mistake.
If I could just return to the point I was making when Vialli was making that well-timed run, I was saying about the success that Sampdoria have had in the last few years. Unless they break again here.
This time it is offside.
This time I will get it in. No, I think the man who plays such a big part in it has got to be Boskov. So refreshing his attitude towards football, whereas we see so many teams going away from home in Italy trying for 0-0. But Sampdoria, he's adopted a very attacking attitude. Whether it's home or away, he tries to win the game. And I'm sure that's the reason why they won the European Cup Winners' Cup. That's why they won the Championship last year. And that's why they're favourites to win the European Cup this year.
There's a change, a second for Sampdoria. And Invernizzi has been a good squad man here. Comes on for Orlando. Mateus with the free kick. And the combined blonde challenge of Klinsmann and Fontalan. It's hard to pick out which is which from this distance. But Bjerkevod certainly felt one of them, Klinsmann presumably. Bergami. 15 minutes to go here in Genoa. And Inter trying to do more than play with just professional pride here. If things go wrong for them and they overcommit, they could end up being beaten by 4 or 5, which just doesn't happen to a club of Inter's calibre. But the key moments in this match have gone against them. And Sampdoria have accepted their chances with relish. Oh, and it would have been one back there, with Klinsmann rising majestically. But they've had problems with Pagliuca in the past, and the goalkeeper kept Klinsmann out once more.
Magnificent save, wasn't it? Point-blank header from Klinsmann. A little bit unlucky. But Pagliuca certainly showing once again today that I feel, in my opinion, he's the best keeper in Italy.
Mateus with the corner, and you have to hand it to Klinsmann. There'd be some strikers, even at this level, who'd be shirking now with their team 3 goals adrift, just wanting to get the game over with and look forward to the next one and maybe better fortune. But Klinsmann is still flinging himself at every cross and still showing the sort of belief that Inter, even in this perilous position for them, that all is not yet lost. It's a great quality in German players. Still, Klinsmann chases on. I felt it was a bit hard of Bertie Vogts. We'd shown the game here on Sunday afternoon coverage when Klinsmann was left out by Germany for apparently a poor showing against Roma. Really had no help in that match and had to work alone up front. And Jurgen Klinsmann was very disappointed only to be a substitute at Wembley, a ground where he was very keen to make a mark. He did come on in the closing stages and went away a winner, which of course matters much. Berti, who was the only Inter player to score against Sampdoria in the 2 league games last season, was on this ground. They lost 3-1. And still, Sampdoria have some defending to do. 6 minutes to go. But you don't sense, Trevor, that there's any real worry there now, and that, though they wouldn't want to, they could afford to concede 1 goal. And Klinsmann is the one player who really has tried to make that happen.
A 3-0 defeat in Italy is the equivalent of a 5 or a 6-0 defeat in England. It really is a big hammering.
Bianchi trying to narrow the margin. Defeat it will surely be. I remember a couple of weeks ago, Trevor, you said when they got it right in Rome that Enrico would be in the headlines. He certainly was, just as you predicted, for the right reasons from his point of view. I wonder what they'll make of him in tomorrow's headlines. They'll certainly be fulsome in their praise for Boskov and Sampdoria. Silas, options right and left, it's Lombardo! A fantastic finale for Attilio Lombardo. Zenga may be surprised to be beaten on that near side, the near post from his point of view, but everything he's hitting at the moment is finding a way past the goalkeeper one way or another. And when you're relaxed, you're 3-0 up, you can just swing the right leg and suddenly you're 4-0 up.
Well, what can one say? That's an absolutely magnificent goal from Lombardo. Lovely little pass from Silas into the path of Lombardo, and you don't stop them. Not even if you're Zenga.
The humiliation goes on for Inter. That's Mateus on Klinsmann. Can he get one back here? No. Well, there are these statistics from the goal-scoring point of view. Minutes to go, 4-0 the score, and if 3-0, as you were saying, Trevor, is a humiliation in Italy, how are they going to react here to a 4-0 drubbing?
Well, I have a feeling they may declare.
The smiles are on the faces of the Sampdoria players, and indeed, I'm sure all of you watching as neutrals, but Inter just want to get out of here. All was going well from their point of view in the 3 games they played Inter, with the notable exception of failing at taking penalties. 5 points out of 6, no one without 100% record, remember, after 3 games. Well, that was eminently satisfactory. But it's been put in an entirely different perspective now. And Lombardo heads it away. And he is on a hat-trick. Cerezo. Now Vialli. Viekabod. And Vialli is in. Is it going to be 5? They can't believe it here.
I think it's offside he's given. I think the linesman's made a mistake, he's given offside. Referee didn't realise, but I think you'll find he's given offside. A late decision.
Viekovod took it off, and Vialli wonders, was it him? He had Mancini in the middle. Certainly the referee had eyes only for the goal. And the offside, very belatedly, stops a 5-goal haul for Sampdoria. It's the last rites here of a remarkable game. We expected something special, but I don't think we expected this. And really, it's been one of those days for Corrado Orico, where everything he's tried to do for his team has gone wrong. He picked a defensive lineup, and they let in a goal. Look at Bremer. Well, and Paolo Mantovani, the president of Sampdoria, who's done so much to raise the standards here, well, he's having a ball. To beat Inter would have been good enough for him, but to do it like this, they'll talk about it for a long time.
The last 20 minutes, Inter have been so poor, Paolo Mantovani could have played himself.
The match is over, but not to be forgotten for a long time. Inter will try to forget it. They came here with a cautious approach, but conceded that goal in the first half to Mancini. They tried to pep it up in the second half, and certainly in the 11 minutes before the crucial second goal, played with much more verve, much more passion, and had more players attacking. The key goal was the second goal for Lombardo, left-footed, fired past Zenga. Vialli got the third and thought he should have had a fifth. Lombardo iced the cake with a brilliant fourth. Sampdoria 4, Inter 0. Like Inter, Juventus started the day with 5 points out of 6. They were away in Bergamo to Atalanta. Jurgen Kohler's purposeful header, the closest Trapattoni's team came to scoring. Atalanta were more aggressive in their attacking in the second half, Tacconi tested by Carlo Perrone. And more work for the Juventus goalkeeper here from a fierce first-timer by Nicolini. It finished 0-0 and Juventus are still unbeaten. Milan, like Juventus and Inter, had dropped only 1 point at the start of play. They were at home to Fiorentina, whose goalkeeper Mannini had to turn aside Roberto Donadoni's rasping drive. At 17 minutes into the second half, unpredictable Fiorentina in front, a delightful goal from Maialaro, totally deceiving goalkeeper Rossi. Fiorentina really flying now, and Batistuta with a tremendous try here. The Argentinian settling in well in Italy. Fiorentina still fearful of a fit again Marco Van Basten, who sneaked in behind them. Van Basten's menace comes in many guises. He made the most of unwise contact on him by Fiondella. Furious protests about the penalty, with Mazzino sent off for his part. Van Basten not ruffled by the delay. With only 4 minutes to go, Milan saved from defeat at San Siro. Roma and Genoa both returned from long midweek trips in European matches, and their fatigue showed in the Olympic Stadium. A rare goal attempt in the first half from Thomas Hessler. Genoa brought Scuravi on for the second half, and his power in the air caused Roma some anxious moments. A return also as a substitute for Rudi Völler after knee trouble. Typically, the great German striker got the ball in the net, but rightly he was ruled offside. Völler involved in the best move of the match, but Bonacina wasted the chance. The final pass from Giannini, who was later sent off for dissent. An anticlimax in Rome, 0-0. Parma had also been away on their first European adventure, a creditable goalless draw against CSK Sofia in Bulgaria. Cremonese, with De Zotti diving in, hoped to find them wearied by that UEFA Cup tie. But from Georges Grun's studious pass, Alessandro Melli looked lively enough, a post preventing Parma taking the lead. But problems for Parma in the first minute of the second half. A free kick by Nepa, a missed kick by Pulga, an own goal to give Cremonese their first goal of the season. But their celebrations were cut short when Gian Di Biaggi fouled Nava, a second bookable offence, and Cremonese down to 10 men. Parma quickly profited from their numerical advantage. Superb work by Thomas Brolin, and a goal for Massimo Agostini, the striker who spent last season with Milan. Parma pressing forward at will now, and Cremonese very nearly conceding a second goal to Quoggi. The final whistle couldn't come soon enough for Cremonese. A last scare from the corner, Minotti unable to make the most of the chance. Parma won, Cremonese won. Ascoli with only 1 point and 1 goal so far as they entertained unbeaten Lazio, who lacked the injured Karl-Heinz Riedler. Ascoli's attack led by 35-year-old Bruno Giordano, who gave a lively performance. But that wasn't matched by their defence. Giovanni Stroppa setting up Thomas Doll for the German international's first league goal in Italy. With Ruben Sosa threatening to run riot, Lazio looked good even without Riedler and, of course, without current access to Paul Gascoigne. With Pin's header coming back off the bar, Lazio could easily have led by more than 1 goal at half-time. But Ascoli could also have equalised. Benetti's shot hitting goalkeeper Fiori and not the back of the net. And in the 53rd minute, Giordano showed he's still got a fine eye for goal. 1-1. Ruben Sosa's response to that was superb. A wonderful goal rifled in with his supposedly wrong foot. And then 13 minutes later, it was the Uruguayan again. A very calmly taken chance this time. Game over. Lazio added a fourth 5 minutes from the end. An Italian on target for them at last, the defender Bergodi. Ascoli now bottom of the table, but Lazio go top. Torino had lost to Lazio in their only previous home game. Now they were trying to send Napoli to their first defeat since March. Torino, a talented side, not yet seen at their very best. Bresciani trying to change that. Alamao still marvellously athletic in Napoli's midfield, but this was to be a match of might-have-beens. Massimo Crippa might have contributed a marvellous goal here. Great pace on the shot. And again, Napoli kept at long range, though that can be a risky policy when Careca is allowed to line the ball up. Torino have power of their own. Policano, 0-0 at half-time, and that's the way it stayed, although Gianfranco Zola came so close to edging the extra point Napoli's way. Even so, it was another satisfactory performance from them. Their only black mark, Padovano, sent off. Last season's second division champions, Foggia, are showing that they're not out of place in top-class company. A win away to Fiorentina last week, and with Cagliari's Fonseca sent off as early as the 12th minute, another 2 points on the way. Yelpo preventing Picasso, putting Foggia in front here. But the Cagliari goalkeeper was beaten 8 minutes before half-time. Shalimov, the Russian midfield player, setting up Rambaudi. Foggia's Signori and Codispoti combined, as they did for a goal against Fiorentina a week earlier. Cagliari 2 goals down. Herrera hit this free kick just over, before another Foggia flourish. Rambaudi running free, and unselfishly giving the goal to Baiano. A late show of defiance from Cagliari's 10 men, and substitute Triniti produced a splendid shot. Foggia with 5 points out of 8 so far. Sadly, no pictures available to show you Verona's first goals of the season, which brought them their first win over Bari. Robert Pritz and a Losetto own goal gave the home side a 2-0 lead. Calcaterra replying for Bari, all the goals in the first half. The league table starting to take shape now, with 4 of the 34 matches played. It's a shape that's by no means satisfactory for Ascoli, who are finding life hard on their return. Bari, Cremonese and Atalanta also still without a win, and Inter down in 10th place. Lazio lead the Italian First Division, shades of 1974 when they won the championship, their only league title. They took advantage of a disappointing day for 3 big clubs who were above them. Juventus 0-0 away to Atalanta. Milan held at home by Fiorentina, and Inter thrashed in Genoa by Sampdoria. Close study suggests that Attilio Lombardo didn't handle before striking that significant shot for Sampdoria. But Inter did have a case for complaint. Mancini was offside. But what was in no doubt was the quality of Lombardo's second goal. In a 4-0 festival for Sampdoria. Sampdoria, for the first time this season, really looked like the champions they are.